Dr. Alan Christensen here. Not sure if you've heard, but we're seeing a huge epidemic of obesity and diabetes striking the entire world. For a while, it was just the modern world like America, and now it's really all over. You know, there was a paper that I wrote back in '93, and it was about the sobering rise of obesity. And at that point in time, the big news was that we had a state that hit 15% obesity for the first time. Totally unprecedented. There was all this talk about what could we not do that was done in that state, what could we learn from this, and how can we do things differently. So last year I wrote a paper and I tied those two together. The new paper was about a state, happened to be Colorado, that had the lowest rate of obesity in the nation. And this article was talking a lot about what can we do positively that they do. You know, how can we be more active, be more outside like many are there. Now here's the real catch. So that paper in '93 about 15% obesity, the highest rate, the highest percent obesity of any state in America up to that point. And then last year's paper about Colorado with the lowest rate of obesity. So the lowest rate last year was 15%. That was the highest rate in 1993. It's going so fast, it's scary. For the first time on planet Earth, we're seeing that death from obesity, diabetes, and the related consequences for the first time ever has exceeded deaths from malnutrition and infectious disease combined. The other big fact is that for the first time in human history, our lifespan is projected to now start decreasing for future generations. So it couldn't be more vital. What's the cause of this? The main issue is a condition called insulin resistance. When we're exposed to high amounts of fructose especially, we start getting numb to our insulin. And this goes on for a long time before anybody has what we call diabetes. So type 1 diabetes is the loss of the ability to make insulin. Insulin is critical for us to manage our blood sugar and keep sugar burned and used as fuel. What's happening with insulin resistance is that we still make insulin, but we're not storing it. So we've got no more supplies of it. When we need it for a meal, there's not enough to make a burst at once. So we've got to trickle it gradually in the bloodstream for hours and hours. That prolonged exposure causes mid-body weight gain. It causes a change in how our liver makes cholesterol. You know, how much we make, what types we make, how big the particles of cholesterol are, they're all different. It also changes our blood pressure. Our blood pressure runs higher when we get insulin resistant. It also causes changes inside the liver itself. The liver can develop fibrosis or scar tissue, or a thing we call non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And finally, it changes the brain. We've seen data now that Alzheimer's and Parkinson's are being recategorized as a special kind of diabetes of the brain. So we have our blood sugar, our blood cholesterol, our mid-body weight gain, our liver function, our brain function, all tied to this one common problem. Now the wonderful news is that all that stuff, crazy as it sounds, that can reverse in 6 weeks. There's hard data saying that, given the right protocol, your pancreas can totally regenerate how it stores insulin, and you can be out of the state of insulin resistant. Now here's the paradox that happens. When you're in this state of resistance, you're storing and you're not burning. So storing is the weight, not burning is the fatigue. Your fuel's not getting in the furnace, it's getting set in this pile. So the cool thing is when that's reversed, you're burning and you're burning. You know, you're breaking down your fat stores, but also you're generating more energy for your body. And as little as 6 weeks, that can totally shift. So it's the most amazing thing in the world. And we can see people go from, even those that are type 2 diabetes, they can move out of that state and they can have an easier time maintaining their health going forward. So like all things, your body can change, your body can heal. Never give up on yourself.